Welcome to another episode of A Question of Meaning with Arthur and Katie. Thanks for tuning in.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, we had our first,
Meet and greet.
We don't want to call it meet and greet.
Yeah, it was nice. A little get together at the
North Asheville Library. Yes, last night, and had a great time. So thanks for those of you who came, and we're going to be doing it again.
We're going to remember the date.
Yeah, actually, I do. It's December 15th was the next date we could schedule at the North Asheville Library.
Happen to remember what night that is?
It's a Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yes, I actually looked at the calendar ahead of turning the camera on.
Wednesday night at
7 o'clock.
7
We'll do
o'clock,
that again.
7 to 9 roughly.
Whatever, yeah.
And the year is still 2010. 10.
That's right.
I was really trying to say 11.
Well, but if it was 2011, then December 15th would not be on Wednesday, so it does
I
kind
don't
of
need
work
to know
together.
that. That just confuses me.
But somebody actually we just got an email this morning saying, maybe we could do it at other libraries. And that was, we're just sort of in the process of figuring this all out. So that's a good idea, and we probably will do that to kind of move around the city. We just happened to know that this North Asheville Library had a room, but I'm sure they all do. So, because we know some people had to travel to get there. So
now you have almost a month to get a friend who has a car and get a lift over to the North Merriman branch.
North Asheville
on Merriman.
Right.
Okay.
And we were thinking of maybe having a topic, but we've got time to discuss that. So we'll maybe have a topic that we can kind of all not focus on, but.
Just get a little more pointed. Last night was kind of a free-for-all. It's really a blast.
It was.
Really fun to meet the viewing public.
So if you were a little nervous about showing up, which I can understand, and didn't come, but you kind of wanted to, right, I wasn't.
It's much easier to talk to a machine. I wasn't.
It wasn't. It was nice. But that, so if you weren't really sure whether, maybe you'd be the only one that showed up, which, I could understand that being a concern. Some people did show up, and so please come to our next one. So, okay, end of that.
Even though we hasten to say you may be the only person to show up at the next one. Maybe everyone was secretly appalled and didn't tell us. But everybody signed up for an email
right.
notification. So if you'd like to have an email giving you the specifics about the next event on December 15th, just leave your email address at 808-8014.
Or email us at
info@questionofmeaning.com,
which might be the easier way.
info@questionofmeaning.com.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
That's easier to remember than the Western North Carolina Community Media Center. Did I say it?
I think you got it all
I didn't
in
think
there.
about it.
Yeah.
I kind of just I took a deep breath and
zinged it.
Went into a Zen state.
Okay, well, all right. So I think
we haven't the faintest idea what we're talking about. We haven't even talked about what we're going to talk about. So.
Yeah. Which is, that's okay. Because one of the things that was really nice last night for us, we did talk about at the event last night some this morning, and one of the things that was really nice for both of us is because we felt like we've kind of gone out on a limb a little bit here, being as honest as we have about ourselves, as our lives. And our relationship, and we weren't sure, how that was being received. And we felt like that, people really responded to that we were creating an openness in their lives by our openness about our problems in our lives. And so that was a real nice confirmation that what we have been doing was helping, people, that was useful.
Sharing our insanity, if you will.
We're
right. Completely insane. I mean, completely is a big word. I mean, there was one good question last night was, if we're all insane, how come some people are more insane than others? Mm-hmm. Very good question. There are a bunch of good questions.
Yeah, it's really stimulating.
And that's what we encourage. Even if you're not going to come to one of our events, if you got a question about our philosophy that we're espousing here, leave the question on our answering machine, 808-8014. You'll get a recording, and leave your question, and we'll do our best to answer it on the next show.
Yeah, because we feel like we've been given some insights into the way things work that are worth sharing, and that's why we're doing this show. But we also don't think we have all the answers, that we're setting ourselves up as experts here. And so we really welcome the dialogue process to figure it all out better, that we can help each other figure it out. That's our goal here. So,
Well, we definitely talked about universal insanity. That was that's the main focus of our work, our book that we are finishing a major rewrite with some dandy new insights that have come to us in this rewrite process. Eventually, we hope to get published, and the title is "We Are All Innocent by Reason of Insanity," and we mean it. We define insanity as the state of confusing mind-generated reality, what we think is so, with actual reality, what is really so. And as we believe, actual reality is nothing less than the absolute truth, and nobody knows what that is. But yet the exigencies of survival require us to walk around acting like we know all sorts of stuff absolutely, and being clever enough to say, of course I don't know it all. I never claimed to. Look how hard it is to change behavior patterns. How resistant we are to really, really new things. Unless it's the latest 3D television sets or something. I'm always open to better technology. We are all crazy because we confuse what we think is real with what is really real, whatever that may be. And we're all, in that condition. Really, the question, why are some people crazier than most, is because some people have less genuine humility than others. Because we talked about humility a lot last night, which is simply being in touch with your limitations. I mean, really being in touch with your limitations. Saying, if you will, in my humble opinion, and meaning it, experiencing that.
But
just
that
how
kinda
little
makes
we
it-
do know. So
that makes it just kind of sound low, saying that some people have more humility. That sort of, it's like a choice. I mean,
oh, not at all. Just the question was, why are some people crazier than others?
so you're
Because the
saying that
person
just it's, that it's not like they have a choice about being humble. It's
Not
just
at
that
all.
that's the fact of the matter. Is
Yes,
that
that's where
they
they are at that moment.
may be less aware of the fact that they're confusing their mind-generated reality, not even aware that there is a mind-generated reality. That will make you crazy.
We quoted from The Game of God, from the Analects of Confucius, one of the quotes in The Game of God, our first book, gameofgod.com. Shall I tell you what wisdom is? When you know a thing, recognize that you know it. And when you do not know a thing, recognize that you do not know it. That is wisdom. And we would say, just take wisdom and place the word sanity in there. Sanity is knowing when you know and not knowing when you don't know, recognizing those facts. And the more insane you are, the more you think you're right. Again, Arthur C. Clarke, one of my favorite quotes that we use also in The Game of God, Recovering Your True Identity. He said, who can forget Jacob Bronowski and his superb The Ascent of Man series, standing amid the ashes of his relatives at Auschwitz and saying, this is how men behave when they believe they have absolute knowledge. So basically, the more you really, really are a know-it-all, the crazier you are.
Okay, so that's really nice. And you know what I was thinking that maybe would be interesting at this point, speaking of being open and honest about our lives, is
my
if
God.
maybe we could share, each of us, some example, and I'm not talking about some example from the past, but I'm talking about some example from right now, presently in our lives, where we are confusing our mind-generated reality with actual reality. Maybe
Right.
a recurring problem or just a example of an instance where it happened, and that could maybe ground it a little more in reality.
Sure.
So,
I'll go first.
okay,
I have a problem with anger. Perhaps the viewers have noticed that. And after the 2000 recount, for the first real time, I've always been dismayed by the conservative propensity of the American people, but I became really politicized. And for 8 years of George Bush, I took years off my life hating him.
Did.
And the Republicans. And I still do. I think in a time of national crisis, those people have acted like the very antithesis of patriots. A national economic disaster created by their get regulation off big business. I mean, here comes the anger. You can see it seeping in as I speak. When you see a country that is, for all its faults, is founded on extremely noble ideals about equality and liberty and freedom from tyranny, and to see it sold down the river to basically the rich and the powerful have completely, and I think it's always been so. Will Rogers said, I think back in the 40s, best Congress money can buy. It's dismaying. I hate that word, but it's on an objective level. I mean, I think the American people, if we could realize that the power really is in our hands, we could throw those bombs out. But we need to do it in a conscious way, because if we're unconscious, too many of us voted for George W. Bush, who was an incompetent fool, I believe. He should have, I guess he could have run baseball as commissioner, which is what he should have been done.
Okay.
Should have done. But that's another opinion. But my anger on any level, whether it's getting mad at somebody driving, somebody that cut me off, or seeing the results of this recent election, the anger, I always justify it. I always I am entitled to feel anger. And that justification for what is essentially, my own philosophy tells me, is a rejection of reality. It is a stamp of, I reject what's going on. What's actually manifest right now is not okay with me, and I'm entitled to throw a temper tantrum about it and express anger and outrage and put my body through all sorts of absurd changes. So that is an example of really thinking that what I believe about reality that's right in front of me the way it is, like it or not, I choose to not like it and get angry about it. And that is what we call in our work the subjective mind. It's a bunch of value judgments that, when objective reality doesn't conform to my brilliant analysis, I'm entitled to get pissed off.
So does your knowledge of this help you deal with your anger in any way?
Not much.
Well, that's honest.
It is. Because
I'm just asking.
Listen, I've gotten through my life by bending and breaking every possible rule I could. My mother spoiled me. I am a clown. I should wear clown suits. I actually thought when I got a certain age, I'm going to wear like these big polka dotted pajamas with ruffle necks.
Yeah, he actually
and,
asked me to make him one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they
full
could wear
clown
your,
makeup, and I'll just walk down the street.
could wear your Depends on underneath it.
What will my Depends on underneath? I'll have those polka dotted too. Custom Depends. So, and I will say this: even though I'm a tree sloth, I apologize to the tree sloths. That's their nature. I'm a slothful. I was given a very bad spin on the work ethic. And my mother let me get away with everything. My grandmother was the disciplinarian and the great advocate of the work ethic, white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, Nazi. And so I got it. I'll move it along. And so I took the road most comfortable, what seemed the most comfortable to me. And it's done a lot of damage in my life because I even when I know I should do something, I don't tend to do it. However, I've developed a philosophy at last that explains it. I'm insane. Paul said, I quoted some scripture last night. Well, Paul said, the things I want to do, I do not do. The things I don't want to do, these I do. What a wretched man am I.
So I think you're talking, you've actually morphed over into another area where your mind-generated reality doesn't fit actual reality. And that's that you think life should be easy and go your way without any effort on your part. So you're angry